What is up, YouTube Disciple here, and today we are unboxing the Zowie EC3. So, for a long time, I've really wanted this mouse. You're like, what do you mean they just announced it a couple months ago? What I mean is, I literally tweeted Zowie or posted on Reddit or something a long time ago, like at least a year ago. What are the chances we can get a, maybe I DM'd him, I think I DM'd him, a smaller EC2B, which is kind of what this is supposed to be. We're gonna see. I've got the EC2B here, it's actually plugged in. We're gonna take a look though, but first, let's get it unboxed. The same exact packaging we're used to seeing. I am interested in how good this paracord is. One of the things I did with my EC2B, I paracorded my MP01S and I took that cord and actually put it on my EC2B because my EC2B like rubber cord like dry rotted or something and just like got extremely stiff out of nowhere. It was really weird. But that's beside the point. That's not what we're here to talk about. Okay, so also something to note, I have the old school version of the EC2 with the 4 mouse feet. So right off the bat, the texture is very different, but I don't know how this differs from the matte coating that you get from the Davina series, or if you get the matte coating on the black one for the Davina series. It comes with an extra pair of mouse feet, so that's nice. That's definitely a win. Not the most eco-friendly packaging, but certainly not the worst I've ever seen in my life. Another thing I'll get excited to try out. I have the FK2, so I'm familiar with these feet, right? But I have the 4 small ones on mine, so I'm interested to see how that differs. And obviously I'll be looking at getting different feet for it if I decide they aren't very good. Let's get this kind of undone. I'll have to be completely honest, this isn't necessarily now first impressions. This would have to be second impressions. Audio kind of went haywire on the video and it didn't sound very good. You can hear a ton of my breathing. I didn't like that, so I thought, you know what I can do? Re-record kind of some of the stuff I talked about. I haven't even used this in game yet, so I'd still consider this first impressions, right? But anyway, if we compare it to the EC2, one of the big things I notice off of the, from Jump Street, if you will, it really just feels like they took, I don't know, like 10 millimeters and just cut it off the EC2, and then that's the shape they took. It definitely, if you've ever used a Death Adder, you know how flat it feels, kind of at the back there. This feels a little similar to that, and maybe it's because it's so tall in the front. I'm not sure, but it certainly feels different in the hand than an EC2. That much I can guarantee you. Now, I love the EC2 feel. This is something I'm going to have to adjust to. It's certainly not as immediately comfortable. One of the things I do like about the EC2 is how it interacts with my palm in this area. And like that's something the Death Adder didn't do well. When it's kind of big anyway for me, but in general, that's something the Outset does do very well. And I really think the difference is it's more rounded here, and this just is a little bit flatter. And so the Outset feels really full in the hand, right? And obviously it has that back lip. When I compare that to the EC3, it feels a lot flatter, and obviously doesn't have the lip in the back, of course. I just thought some comparisons to mice people have used before would be helpful for kind of how it feels. I don't know what the measurements say. It doesn't feel much narrower than the EC2 off initial impressions, maybe a little bit, but nothing insane that my hand's like, oh my gosh, that's such a smaller mouse, or anything of that nature. The Outset's definitely wider, that I can notice. So I don't even know how the other two compare, but yeah, that's what I would say. Initially, I feel like instead of the tallest part being here in my hand, it's more like here. I don't know that I like that. I don't know that I dislike it either, but it's just certainly different. And kind of forcing me more into a claw than my typical more like relaxed finger set. I pretty much palm the EC2. I don't know why I try to call it a claw. I mean, I don't full, the whole hand doesn't touch, but my fingers are pretty relaxed. On this one, instead of like this would be what I'd want, and I'm feeling like I need to do more like this, so a little more aggressive with the fingertips curling. But mouse thumb placement's great. My thumb goes right under those mouse buttons, which feel good. I don't know I don't think that made the cut in the video, so we'll do this real quick. So that's what the buttons sound like. They feel fine. It's certainly not the best clicks I've ever felt, but they're not unusable by any means, and nothing that would make me say I don't want this mouse. But I've definitely the outset are definitely better, but these are also for me like cream of the crop. If I'm being honest, these are really really good. The scroll wheel is 24 steps instead of the 16 on the EC2. It has noticeably more tension and a better tactile feel. Similar sound, but it is a little suppressed in comparison, I'd say. And really overall, I think it's going to be a good improvement. I'm actually really interested now. I kind of want an EC3B to try out. I know these aren't supposed to be direct comparisons, but I'm really trying to highlight where the differences are. And what I'd say is the shape is still very similar. The base is very similar. So they did kind of redo the back a little bit. It's a little more rounded. This one's a little, this part is like shallower on the EC3, if that makes sense. So, you know, they were talking about wanting to get that better vertical movement for people that utilize the mouse in such a way. And I think it accomplishes that really well. The cord, I don't think I talked about this either before I edited the video out, but the cord feels really good as well. This is honestly probably just as good as the Viper Mini cord, which I think is probably the best. These two would be the best stock cables I've ever used in terms of flexibility. So definitely nothing bad to say there. Yeah, and then like I said, I know I mentioned the clicks. Mouse 3 feels fine as well. Side buttons feel okay. They're not the best, not the worst. Mouse 1 and 2 once again just feel fine. But yeah, I'm really excited to give this a try. I'm not gonna go too far in depth. I think that's unfair to say like this mouse is good or bad off of 5 minutes of holding it in my hand without even playing a game. But certainly looks like it has promise. That's what I'll say about it. It's definitely noticeably different than an EC2B, noticeably smaller. So I'm interested in if I like it better in game. One thing I forgot to mention, you could definitely notice the lighter weight. I've never been necessarily a person to chase the most lightweight mouse, but it's certainly an added benefit I can't deny. It's just not one that's a priority to me, but I definitely notice it. I'll have a full review out. I'm thinking about maybe doing something in a week, giving an update, and then like in a month doing like a full review, just to help people who are considering it, tell them yeah, definitely worth trying, or definitely not, and then really seeing how it holds up after a month of use. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll be streaming using the mouse, so catch that on my YouTube or on my Twitch. It's the same thing, twitch.tv/discipletd. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Peace.